We are back live again. So we're just for anyone that's watching this on the replay thinking, what the hell is going on? We are doing some little tests because there we go, is that okay there? Because YouTube is doing some crazy stuff with the amount of people that see me live streams, and I'm getting like 100 viewers, 500 viewers, 200 viewers, 600 viewers, which never normally does that before. But we've realised that the monetization is turned off on the stream. So now we've turned it on. Now we'll see what the difference is. We'll see what the difference in numbers is. Let me just log back on my laptop here now. See, so I can see the live chat. There we go. Who do we have? Alfie Landay's first. Right, Alfie, let's see how many people end up in this live stream. So we've got 20 now. Yeah, everyone's back. Now, what we'll end up with now is just the boys. I reckon we'll just have our little plastering crew now, and that's it. or as Leighton calls it, my mate, we'll just have back now the plastering cult. 44. Let's see. Now, remember before it was going like 250 and stuff like that. I bet it doesn't now. I mean, it'd be ace if it does. It'd be ace if something's happening. But I think we get the highest numbers when it's not monetized. And ultimately, do you know what? Well, there's a few things. I don't really care about the money off the lives. It doesn't really make much of a difference to me, because it's only peanuts anyway. And well, that said, it's like, I don't really need people from all over the world firing random stuff into the comment section. I mean, I know all you guys are here sort of because you follow my channel, whereas I think we were just getting loads of just random people just from all over the internet jumping on. But that said, we are at 124 again, so this could be the new thing. Hey, do me a favour, right? Let's just see what happens. 156. What's going on? Why am I getting so many views? Right? Do me a favour, right? 156 people. If you are good human beings, right? If you are good human beings, do me a favour. Just hit the like button now. Just 156 people. Hit the like button, because YouTube's algorithm will pick that up and it'll go to more people. Let's see if we can make me a couple of quid tonight. Hey, flipping, don't worry, I'm not getting greedy. It's not about, I'll just flipping give prizes away or something. I just want to see what happens. It's mad, it's gone to 210 now. Okay, so it's not the money. It's not the monetization. Anyway, sorry, I'm just waffling on. Let's read the comments. Horse Sheep Reptile got banned. Yeah, we had to get rid of him, mate. I don't mind anyone on the live stream say we can talk about anything they want, say anything they want, ask anything they want, but just weird stuff, man, just random, just nonsense is just irritating, isn't it? Yes, mate, we're back here for you, Kirk. Cheers, Jordan. Kristen Polanski, flipping heck. Christian Polanski, that is definitely a Polish name, isn't it? So, can you say Boba Kowa? Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing that right for you. And if you are Polish, then Dzień dobry, Zimowicz po angielsku. Leon Shin. Yo, I've seen some weird YouTube lives just now, man. 2 parents were smoking pot in front of their kids. Oh, flipping. It's the world we live in, isn't it? It's the world we live in. YouTube Liverpool School of Plastering. No, we shouldn't. I'm not a member. YouTube, where have you actually? I've never seen your comments on my videos, I don't think. Have you only ever just seen me on these live streams, mate? Alfie Lander, same amount of people, roughly, to be fair. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? So something's gone on. Omar, hey up. Omar, flipping, where have you been, mate? How you doing, Kirk? Hope you well. I'm spot on, mate. Ash, yes, Kirk, legend, mate. What size trowel would you recommend? Cheers. This size. 14 before. That, I would say, is the best size trowel. Although, because it's so narrow, your knuckles do hit the wall when you're sort of coming down. You know, when you're coming down the right hand side of the wall, your knuckles can hit. So you have to just flip it upside down and do it this way, you know. But that's the best size trowel. In my opinion, that is the flipping perfect size trowel. And, well, you might have a problem getting hold of them, though, if you want a steel one. If you want stainless steel, you should be fine. But I've pretty much bought most of the spring or carbon steel ones, so I've got them all. They're mine. Where have we gone here? Jordan B. Honestly, watch your vids most of the time when I get home from plastering, rough casting, roofing, and I love it. Cheers, Jordan. You're top man. Thank you very much, mate. Robardo Kennedy. I think that reptile guy was on another 2 accounts the stream before yours, saying similar shit. I know, yeah. Strange dude. I know he was definitely on a few accounts on mine. It was funny, isn't it, man? Do you know what? To be fair to him, he's made it quite interesting because he's been like a little talking point, hasn't he, for the last 2 streams. YouTube, have they all got notifications on? I don't know, yeah. Be interesting. Do you know what's mad? I said everyone hit the like button. I don't know what's happened because like I've got 0 likes. So how does that work? Christian Polanski, bro, I'm working a night shift. Oh, mate. Well, just think of the money, mate. Just think of the money. It's higher than it was. Well, 210. I know, down to 95 now, though. Wait there. What's going on here? Oh, it's 26 likes up there. I don't. Right, so what's mad is I'm watching. Yeah, you can't see. I'll just show you. I'm looking here at you guys, right? But I'm also looking here at the comments, right? And I'm getting different likes here compared to what I can see here. So who knows what's happening? Who knows what's going on? Right. Right, Omar, just in the door, been under the bonnet of a Vivaro all day, stripped teeth off the crank and broke rocker arms. I ended up having to butcher the injectors just to get the rockers, so I had to change. Oh, mate, sounds like you've had fun. I mean, I had a Vivaro as well, but the thing died, I killed it, so 6 gear dropped off, that stopped working, and I had to have the injectors on that at one point. But I'm in a crafter at the minute. Right, Smart Holt, you need a new number counter, that's all. Something, I need something fixing. Unknown, I have to call a Sparky. Wow, what's happened, mate? Keith, prices of materials these days. Fuck's sake. Hey, Big Yin. Cheers, Keith. I know, yeah, plaster's doubled in price. Plaster is literally twice as expensive now. Omar, new injectors ain't cheap. And when I had my injectors done on my Vivaro, they managed to find it was only one. And what they had done is they had took injectors out of another van. They'd done a full swap on the other one, and there was only one gone down. So he had 3 good ones, and he kept them aside. He was a smart mechanic. And then when mine went in, he just found the broken one and just replaced one. And he already had it from the other van, so it was basically, didn't cost nothing. So just giving you an idea, mate. You know, you never know. Scrapyard jobby. It's getting them out, though, isn't it? I don't understand much about engines, but I know it's a bit of a hassle getting them out or something. Rob Hastings, I'm a plasterer's labourer. Any advice? Get very good at at looking after the plasterer you're working for. So he's always got plenty of, everything he needs done. Try and get ahead of him, even if he doesn't ask you. Get his water ready, make sure everything's taped up, make sure all the gear's in, make sure everything's cleaned off, he's got enough mix. Get used to doing that. Before you know it, you'll be able to do that with your eyes shut. Like, I could literally labour on somebody else without even feeling like I'm working. I'd be ahead of him all the time, quite easily. Get to that point and you'll have so much free time when you're efficient that you'll have nothing else to do but apart from get on the trowel and start plastering, Go and buy a nice Marshalltown trowel and then ask him if he wants you to give one of his walls a flatten over, and then that'll be it. You'll be on the trowel before you know it. Jordan B, a 14 by 4.7 trowel is good for getting in tight without flipping the trowel. A Marshalltown, of course. Yeah, 14.4. I can't even. It's too late for me, Joe. I choose a 14B5. I just prefer the thinner ones because I've had issues with my wrist from using stupid size trowels in the past. I had a 20-inch trowel at one point, thinking I was dead smart when I was younger, and didn't do myself any favours with it. Dave Noble, 240 watching, and still only 25 likes. I know, yeah, it's nuts in it. I don't know what's going on. John Russell, showing 23 likes here. Wee Binny C, is that it's the flat earth map horse. Do you know what? That's just a normal map. That's just a normal map. Do you know, it's funny you guys look at that. I never even see that. I wanted to have a map so that when I'm looking at, going to certain places, I can see sort of, oh, we're not far from there. We passed, my geography wasn't that good. So it's just nice when I'm planning a holiday or a little excursion. I can see, because Kieran went to Europe and I was like, oh, you're in Poland, you're not far from such and such one. You go there next. And there's no wall space. The only free bit of space I've got is there because there's an infrared heater up there. And that's basically into me toilet over there, so that was literally the only place it could go. YouTube on the trial, do you support Liverpool or Everton or neither? Never played football, mate. I was one of those kids in school when I was younger that I got a little bit picked on. I was a little bit fat and come from a poor family, so I used to get a little bit of stick when I was in primary school. I used to get pushed around a little bit because I was a little squidgy mummy's boy. And they wouldn't let me play with them. They wouldn't let me play football with them. And then I started going boxing because my dad was a bit of a flipping nutter anyway. So I used to end up getting battered by him most evenings after he had a few pints. And then I ended up going boxing and realised that if I could take a dig off my dad, what these little kids do in the boxing ring and what the kids do in school is nothing. I mean, something absolutely pathetic. So then I realised that they're not all that tough because they can't even hurt me anyway. So I started hitting back because I was boxing training. And just doing so much boxing training, never doing football, I never got into it, mate. I never really went down the football route. So I've got nothing against football, but I've never played it. And I've never really been interested in it. So my best mate is a big Liverpool fan. He goes and watches all the games. And he has it on his, his telly is it Sunday? Do you watch it? Or it's on every day in his house. I couldn't even tell you who plays for Liverpool. Masala. I call him Masala. Chicken tikka masala. He plays for Liverpool, doesn't he? There's one that I know. That's the only football player I know. Mike Wells, get to bed, man. Haven't you got work in the morning? Yeah, don't worry about me, Mike. I have a little siesta in the day. Jordan B. And a Marshall ain't cheap now. When I started, they were about 40 quid. Now they're about 80. I know, mate. I know all about it. Oh, where are we up So yeah. Oliver Ford. Right, sorry guys, sorry. Just got lost reading comments there. Oliver Ford, can't sleep, neighbours arguing, goddamn 1 AM, just try some wacky backy, hope get some sleep. Hello everyone, how is everyone? Sorry to hear about that, Oliver. Nothing worse than flipping nightmare neighbours. Ivan Prikio, I think that's how you pronounce it. Do you think more people should float in the set, especially on new builds, as the walls will be more solid? We did a full bungalow a few months ago. It does take a lot longer. Build the walls were solid. Yeah, I think. Well, the thing is, there's what you've got all over the UK is loads and loads of houses that were floated originally, and now there's lads trying to go in that the whole next generation of plasterers pretty much can't do it. So it's sort of it's going to become an issue. I personally think it's going to be a bit of an issue, especially when you're dealing with, like, you know, solid 9-inch walls that should be either floated with lime or with sand and cement with a waterproofing in them. Eventually, when they come to be replastered at some point in the future, they're all going to need, you know, all sorts of different systems, because if people start dabbing plasterboards on, they're going to have nothing but issues. So, but I suppose for the lads that can float and set, there'll be probably a lot of money in it for them. Robardo Kennedy, sometimes if you're scrolling on YouTube Shorts, it throws you into someone's live stream. That could be why the viewer count is fluctuating so much. I know. It's 74 now, so this is more like normal. This is where it, you know, normally is around there. I mean, not even 7. I mean, what time is it? 1:15 in the morning. It's 7. I've done live streams before now. There's been about 10 of us on here, you know. It's been like an after party. Wee Binny C, have you watched Kirk Giordano? He's like the David Bowie of plastering in America on YouTube. He's like, he likes a derby and a cheat board and a white shirt. Listen, when Wee Binny C, Kirk Giordano was the original plasterer on YouTube. I remember watching him. There was nobody else. There wasn't anybody else. It was just him. He was the only plasterer on YouTube. I'm talking like when I was in me sort of, like, you know, early 20s, and I was still flipping mad for it, trying to learn as much as I possibly could about absolutely every aspect of plastering. He was the only fella that I could watch every night. So, but sort of now, I don't know, you know, and you've watched something so much, you're just like, not Kirk, he's a nice bloke, but I'm just thinking, like, you know, I genuinely don't really watch plastering videos on YouTube anymore, you know. I watch enough of myself when I'm editing videos. I'm sort of sick of it now, you know. YouTube, on the trowel. Is on the trowel a play on words of on the towel and a hint about being in a bad mood every 28 days? No. When I made this YouTube channel, I could have called it Kirk Johnstone the Plasterer, because that's what, you know, my Facebook set up as me on the side of my van, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. It's sort of, I put Kirk Johnstone the Plasterer, but I didn't want any more work. I was already sort of flooded with work, and the reason I made the channel was for this little guy here. Me little, there he is. That's his passport photo from 2 days ago. This little fella come along, and like, I'm 38 nearly now, so I wanted to sort of make videos for him, for when he's older, if he wants to learn plastering. And, you know, if I'm old and decrepit and can't show him, at least he can watch his dad. So I started making videos for him anyway. That's how my YouTube channel started. And then I just ended up getting subscribers and people asking questions, and then one thing leads to another, and then here we are now. But that's basically how it all started. 20 months ago. That's when my YouTube channel started. 20 months ago. I know when you look on my channel description, it says like 2014. That's just when I opened my Google account. That's not when I started uploading videos or anything, you know. Well, in fact, you can click on videos and just click oldest video, and it'll just take you back to 20 months ago. Oliver Ford, need to recommend this to my uncle. He's a builder, but most of his money goes on drugs up his nose. Is there a big drunk problem, these job roles? Yes. Yeah. Massive drink and drug problem with plasterers as well. In fact, I would say where I live, a good 80% of the plasterers are either alcoholics or flipping cocaine addicts. I mean, and I'm not knocking anybody. I was sort of in the drinking division, you know. I was in their team, but not sort of. I don't know. Some lads are just flipping mad for it. I've always had a family. I just like a few beers after work, you know. But that's sort of been canned lately as well. Omar, lol, it's getting them out. It's hard. Yeah, the injectors. It's the hard part. Like they are welded in. Already got new ones. €1,100. 4 new injectors. £200 for timing kit. 65 quid for the rocker arms. It's been a fun day. Don't cross thread them then, or whatever you have to do with them, mate. I don't know if they've got threads, but be careful. Horsesheet. Gonna send you an AE map for your wall, mate. I'll put it up if you want to send anything and you want to see it here. I will. Anything you send, I'll put up, unless it's got Joe Biden's face on it. Sam Deere, is that a Luton van or something? I don't know if you're referring to me or Omar. My van's a Volkswagen Crafter. It's just a big high top. Well, it's a medium wheelbase, but it's not, compared to other vans, it's a long wheelbase, but it just so happens that they do absolutely massive versions of it as well. Right, Alfie, I'm off, night. Gotta watch The Nephew tomorrow. Have a good night. See ya. Take it easy, Alfie. See you later, mate. Jordan B, use the Ox trials for exterior work because they're amazing, but still use Marshall inside, but Ox Ultraflex for polishing. Fair play, mate. Okay. Salah. Mo Salad. Right, Robardo Kennedy, do you watch any boxing or UFC? To be honest with you, mate, do you know what? I would, but I never ever have time to watch telly. Like now, when I've got a little bit of time spare, I end up doing stuff in here, you know. So editing video. I've always got stuff that I should have done. My day is never complete, so I just don't have time to watch TV. I mean, I know we're just having a little yap now on the live, but this ultimately is a little test for me because I was trying to figure out what was going on with the numbers. But yeah, no, I don't. I've got a wife and 3 daughters, man. There's no chance of me getting the boxing or the UFC on. They all want to watch flipping whatever nonsense they watch. So I'm a bookworm, to be honest with you, mate. I read, but even that's a bit far and few between now because I've never got any spare time. Shieldsy, honestly, on the trial, I've just started a handyman business. Any advice on how to get my name out there to get more work? Right. Yes, Shieldsy. Right, so I'm not trying to sell you, but I'm just so you know what I'm talking about. I've got a sales and marketing course on my channel. You can literally click on www.kirkjohnstone.com or co.uk, whatever it is, in the channel description, and there's a link there to take you to it, a sales and marketing course, and that's exactly what I show you how to do, how to use social media and Google to bring in as much work as you possibly want. Now, all I do in there is just tell you exactly what I've done myself since 2008 when I come off the building sites because of the recession. But I'll just give you the heads up. This is exactly what I would recommend you do, mate. market yourself and not what you do as much. So you want to market yourself and not so much advertise what you do. You've got to do the adverts, but marketing yourself is more important. Okay, so customers, if you're doing DIY and stuff like that, handyman, sorry, if you're doing like a handyman business, your customers are going to be majority of the time it's going to be like women, right, wanting little jobs done, things that maybe the husband won't do or whatever. What you've got to think is the mindset of a woman getting a job done is a little bit different to your average bloke. So steer me out of this, right? You could be the best handyman in the world, but if you come across as a bit aggressive, a bit narky, a bit sneaky or sleazy or creepy or a bit overpowering, then it doesn't matter how good you are at your job, the woman just won't want you in the house. She'll be like, oh yeah, don't want him here, you know. So it more comes down to, if they like you as a person, that seems to be more important than how skilled you are. Now, as for example, I've had my mate round to do our kitchen for us, and my missus didn't like him. He's a mint kitchen fitter, but my missus was like, don't really like him. So, well, you have to like him. He's just fitting the kitchen. No, I don't want him to do it. There's your example. So, use social media to market yourself. If people like you as a person, then they'll hire you. They'll buy from you. That's the best advice I could give you on that, mate. Imagine if there was 10 handymen online and little Mrs. Jones had to pick one, you know, because she wanted a job done, and 9 of them, all they had was pages, you know, like Facebook pages, and they were faceless, right? She didn't know who any of them were, but one of them, you could see who he was, and you could see him with his missus and kids. You could see him saying nice things about his mum, and there he is with his little dog, and he's like a family guy. That's the guy that will get the job. Because you go, okay, I can't see these other people. I don't even know who they are. They could be anybody. But I can see this guy. I can go through his posts. I can see what he's about. He seems a lovely fella, right? Because the people will vet you on. That's the thing with being online. People will check you out to come and see who you actually are. Before you even get a phone call, trust me, the woman of the house has already put your name into the database, like she's in the CIA on Facebook. She's already put your name in to try and track you down and see who you are. People do that, so you can use social media to market yourself and put your best foot forward. And if you want me to help you to do that, to tell you specifically what to do, then feel free to jump in my course. It's £1 a day, so extremely expensive. Where are we up to? Carl McGowan Kirk, can you tell people we're not Scousers over this side of the water? I know, yeah. People always say to me, he's a Scouser. Who was it? Damp Sam was calling me a Scouser. And I'm like, flipping heck. I've got family in Liverpool and they call me a woolly back. Like, they'd be insulted if I said I was a Scouser. Wakwas Aslam. Could I plaster the whole house by watching your videos and practicing on my own? Yeah, I went and helped the subscriber plaster a ceiling that was massive, and he had plastered his whole house by himself, and I was amazed at the standard, because he was better than a lot of other time-served plasterers. Now, granted, he had plastered his house before that. He'd done 2 houses, and he had practiced. He hadn't watched all my videos, because I wasn't online then, but he had literally taught himself and watched people on YouTube, and then he come across me and then been watching my videos. He said they were super helpful. Don't want to try and blow my own trumpet, but he said they really helped him. And then he was messaging me and managed to get hold of me, and he didn't live too far, and said, do I want to go and help him do a bigger ceiling, because it's just a little bit too big for him to do. So, but he had skimmed his whole house, and I promise you, it was genuinely mint. I had a good look over it, and there was no faults with it. It was perfect. 1 wall at a time, mind you, though. He'd literally just done 1 wall at a time, and yeah, spot on. Couldn't fault him. Chad Ryan, have you ever had to go back to a job because you've made a mistake on it? Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. Yeah, I tell you what it was. The biggest mistake I've ever made was floating an Artex ceiling down in my 20s, floated an Artex ceiling with bonding, and then skimmed it, and then 3 days later it fell down. And it was because the Artex was solid. I'd already tested that to make sure the Artex was good and solid. I knew about lime wash paint then. In my early 20s, I understood about lime wash paint and that the Artex is going to be well adhered. But I didn't know that bonding doesn't stick to paint. I thought it did. But it doesn't. It needs sealing before the bonding goes on. So I learned that the hard way. YouTube, get 1 or 2 watching yours. Bike ride premiers, fair dues. Officially, Righty. Hi, Kirk. Are you good, mate? I'm good, thank you. Righty, I'm spot on. Wee Binny C, glasses vids are great. Yeah, they are, mate. They are good. YouTube, I'm a mank, but I don't mind scousers. Cheers, mate. King BV Magical Mimus CC. What's up from Idaho, USA? Flipping heck. The other side of the world. What time is it over there, mate? Oh, sorry, guys. It's just done it again on the comments. YouTube, YT is recommending trowel to everyone. The flat world is a bit small, but it's not that small. Jordan B, honestly, probably the best plastering vids on YouTube, along with Kirk Giordano. Oh, the 2 Kirks, mate. And you know what? I'd love to go and meet the fella. The 2 Kirks plastering on YouTube. He says me dad. So that's what we should start a rumour on YouTube and say Kirk Giordano is Kirk Johnston's real dad. That'll burn everyone's mind out, wouldn't it? YouTube people not into plastering are watching. It's funny, the channels that go viral. The non-plasterers wonder why there's so much talk about plastering. I know, yeah. What the hell's going on in here? What's going on in this little live stream here? YouTube, I've worked with Scousers years back. They're good, decent people. Do you know what I found, mate? I've worked with Scousers as well. Scousers call us woolly-backs, mate, where we are on the Wirral, because we're closer to Wales than what we are to Liverpool. Right? I've worked with Scousers. I've worked with the Manx. I've worked with lads from Birmingham. Do you know what? There's genuinely decent people all over the place. There's good people everywhere. There's more of us good guys than there is bad guys as well, you know. You just feel like there's so much bad because the media flipping pump it at you all the time. But, you know, I always make a point of whenever I'm out and about around my local estate and the shops, whatever, if there's young lads, gangs of young lads, you know, all grouped round. I was one of them when I was a kid, you know. And I was like, all right, lads, you okay? So well-mannered. You know, you see these gangs of kids everywhere and you think they're like, they're going to all be carrying knives and what have you. I always make a point of going, hey, up, boys, you okay? You all right, lads? And, hello, mate, you okay? You know, they're flipping lovely. The media just make out to everybody that everybody's out to do you harm, whereas good 95% of people are good-hearted, genuine people. Jordan B, Kirk and YouTube, a captain no less. Graham Grief, you need a can of Carling, son. Nectar of the gods. Yeah. Do you know what? I haven't even got a glass of water in here. Nick out the Dead South for tour again. Are you going to go and watch them? Yes. I'm glad you've told me that. I need to write that down. Wait a minute. I need to check that out because I'll forget. I've got a brain like a sieve. Soon as they come back into the UK, I'm going to watch them. I will be there. Wherever the Dead South are, wherever they turn up, if they're playing in Manchester or Liverpool or anywhere around the north of England, I will go and watch them. T. Hi Kirk, would you use hardwall or bonding on a solid brick wall if the wall is a bay window? Right, so hardwall is designed for high suction background, so if it's brick, That's what hardwall is designed for. Your bonding is more designed for going over plasterboard and sealed backgrounds. So if your wall's out of shape and it's been painted and you seal it with SBR, then you straighten it out with bonding coat. Okay. If you've got plasterboards that maybe some lunatics put on and they're all over the place, or you need to curve a ceiling in to make a hand cove, then that's what bonding's for. Anything brick or block, that's what your hardwall's for. But check, if your bay window hasn't got a cavity, then don't use a gypsum based plaster. You'll have to use sand and cement with waterproofer or lime plaster. Okay. Or you can use bonding coat, but you'd have to put a membrane on first, you know. So there's a few different ways of doing it, but all I'm saying to you is, if it's a solid 9-inch wall with no cavity, do not put a gypsum-based back coat plaster on there, because you'll get penetrating moisture. You'll get damp problems under the window. Jordan B was on site once and watched 3 brickies put up a 4 and a block in 5. Yeah, fair play. Labourer was a beast. I bet he was. He'd have to be. Labourer on 4 brickies. JF, I don't know, mate, come down south. I'm in Berkshire. I'm moving up north, getting away from it all, to competitive and just getting priced out of work. I've been able to afford to live. Oh, got you. Okay. JC Warlock, ain't that the truth? Seems like all they do is spread negativity. That's what they're designed. That's what the media is there for. The news channels aren't there to tell you the news. What the government doesn't need us to know anything. It's just little minions, just little cogs in a machine to just generate revenue from us. They don't need us to know what's going on in the world. All it's about is media is just to keep the nation divided. As long as we're divided, we won't write. I mean, I'm probably get me channel pulled for this. As long as they keep us nice and divided, then we won't rise up against the government together. You know, think of it. Think of the situations that they created. They made the vaccinated against the non-vaccinated. You know, anyone that's Muslim might be a terrorist. You know, I've got flipping loads of Muslim mates. They're flipping lovely people. The media is to just divide the population up. You know, that's what it does. You know, every immigrant, you know, is seen as like a terrorist, or they're coming to take your money or your jobs, or flipping. They just like to just divide people. It's my 2p's worth anyway. Jordan B, do you do weights, mate? Yes and no. I do when I'm training, but at the minute I've hurt my knee, so I've had a snapped ACL in my knee for over a year because I've been waiting for it to get better. But now I've got an operation coming up, so. And then after the operation, I'll need to lose a load of fat, and then we will look at doing a bit of training again. YouTube, I'm a Man United fan, working with a Scouser all day. So there was banter, but one day I gave him a football sticker, Steve Gerrard, and he was so happy. It just made me so happy. He stuck that Gerrard sticker on his machine, and I had a skull sticker on mine. HTZ Lucky, why is a map on the roof? I wanted a map in here, mate. I wanted to be able to see the world and be able to pinpoint where our places were, and that was the only free space I had. All my other wall space, you know, I can show you around a little bit in here now. Okay. This is the good thing about having this. So here I've got TVs. There's another TV. Oh, let me just turn that light off so you guys can see. It's a bit bright, that, isn't it? I've got TV there. That's what I'll watch YouTube and stuff on with me, or me. I've got my PS5 wired up. That's for that TV, so I can play the computer on that one, and then I have the laptop down here for editing videos. And then I'm missing another rifle because my mate borrowed a rifle off me, so there's no space on that wall. There's no space on that wall out there. That's my house through the window, because this is like a workshop I've built in the back garden. There's a let me turn that off so you can. Let me wait there. 1 second. 1 second. Behind that poster, towel, whatever you want to call that. There's a toilet in there. So there's literally no wall space for a map anywhere apart from up there. I've got my light there and my infrared heater up there. So that's the only place it could fit. There you go. So now you've had the full tour. Jordan B, you look like you could lift a good bit. Yeah, what did he... I used to be able to bench 246, 120. I used to be able to bench 140 kg, 320 plates, plus the Olympic bar. You know, I'd be able to get about 10 reps out on my own with that. So I don't know if that's good or not, but that's what I used to be able to do. I haven't been in the gym for a while though, mate. So. That's the Mercer map. It's pretty accurate. Yeah. Collins. I don't know. I just got it off Amazon. Where's it gone there? T, thank you. The wall doesn't have a cavity, so I would use sand and cement. I'm currently studying plastering level 2 at college. Yeah, so your wall doesn't have a cavity, right? So just think of this. When it rains outside and it lashes down and the water is beating against that bay window, the brickwork is going to get wet, right? And what's going to happen is if you put a gypsum-based back coat plaster on the other side of that brick, it will wick, it will draw the moisture through. So that's the problem. When there's no cavity, you know, you get a brick wet, it'll just let the moisture go through it. Maybe one downpour won't, but you know what it's like through the winter when it's just damp and cold and wet all the time, you'll start to get penetrating damp through the wall. That's the purpose of the cavity, to have an outside brick and a gap of air and an inside brick, because it separates the wet outside brick from the dry internal one. So this was the beauty of lime plaster. You could put lime plaster on the inside of a solid 9-inch wall and it breathes, so it would release the moisture, whereas gypsum-based plaster doesn't. Now, there is problems these days because you get lime plasters, but then people will paint it with vinyl silk, which basically seals it, and, you know, it seals the moisture in. So you've got to use like a lime wash paint or an earth paint. I don't know, there's all different types of breathable paints if you can have lime plastering. But what you potentially need to do, this is the way I would do it. There's loads of different ways of stopping penetrating moisture. This is what I would do. Mix a 3-to-1 mix of sand and cement, and it's not just sand and cement. You don't just use sand and cement. You have to put an integral waterproofer in it. Okay, so it comes in a tub, you know, 5-litre tub, integral waterproofer. Just read the spec on the back of it. It'll tell you, like, you know, a litre for 25. No, I think it's a litre for every 50 kilograms of cement. Depending on which brand you use, it might be slightly different. So, you know, just measure that out, put it in your mix, and away you go. And that will then stop any moisture coming through from the brickwork. We'll get to the sand and cement, and it won't go any further than that. So that's what you want to do: sand and cement with waterproofer. Jordan B. Kirk, keeping up the buildings about here. J.C. Warlock, network of entertainment, weather and sport. Okay, I don't know what you're on about. YouTube, when I found out Jared's cousin died at Hillsborough, it stopped me hating Scousers forever. Yeah, that Hillsborough thing messed a few people up as well, didn't it? And I worked for the fella once, and he was at Hillsborough, and he suffered it ever since then, you know. He said seeing people literally helplessly getting killed, helplessly dying, really messed with his mind, you know. Where have I gone up to the comments here? Huge undies. It is huge undies. If you're worried about losing your job to a fella that just jumped out of a dinghy, you've wasted you've wasted your education. That's here's my view on it. Here's my view on sort of people coming to the UK for the meal ticket, right? If they had a thing now in, I don't know, Spain, if they said to me now in Spain, you can go to Spain, and if you just get over the border, you'll be given, you know, a flipping big fancy house, you'll get money, you'll get looked after, you'll get free healthcare, you'll get this, it'll all be laid on. I would go. Of course you would. It's not, this is my view on it. You can't blame the immigrants. It's our system that's broken. I mean, if all they have to do is just say, to nip that in the bud, all they have to do is just say, yeah, if you come here, you're not entitled to nothing. And it would stop. You can't blame the immigrants. It's not their fault. If I knew I could go and get a far better lifestyle, I mean, there's probably are some people fleeing war-torn countries, no doubt, and there's probably a lot of people that aren't, that are just coming here for a better lifestyle, and who can blame them? They're just trying to get a better life for themselves. I would do exactly the same. If I could go to Australia tomorrow, knowing that all I had to do was get there, and I'd get a house, and I'd get looked after, I'd get money, and it might be a little bit rough for a couple of months, but eventually, you know, I'd get citizenship, and it'd be fine and dandy, and I get looked after by the government. Of course I would go. You'd be flipping stupid not to go. You'd be a flipping idiot not to go, wouldn't you? So you can't blame them. All they have to do is just make a rule in our system. Yeah, sorry, if you haven't paid tax in our country, you're not entitled to nothing. Problem solved. Well, I'm sure it's probably a bit more, I'm making it sound simpler than what it is, but there's probably someone smarter than me that could figure out how to do that, you know, fairly. You know, we used to have a little debate about this in work. Sorry, just going off on a little tangent now. We used to go on about this in work, you know, the benefit system and what have you. And people sort of, because I'd say, it's mad, isn't it? I get up every morning, I go to work, I graft, I come home, and then I've got a little bit of money and I can go for a pint after work, and I'm in my scruffs, and I've got to leave the pub early because I need to go home, because I need to go to bed because I've got work the next day, right? And whilst I'm in the pub, there's people better dressed than me that seem to have more money than me that can stay out later than me because they've got no work, and they don't go to work, and my taxes literally go to them. We were having a laugh about it once. I was talking to this fella called Dave, and what I pay in tax in 1 year is literally the exact same as what he receives in benefits. And I'm like, I'm just literally paying for you. And he's just on the beer all the time. And I'm like, this is flipping nuts, isn't it? So I've said, why don't we? Let's just say, for instance, now, let's just say you've got someone that is earning 80 grand a year, and he loses his job, right? And then all of a sudden he's on job seekers allowance, which is peanuts, and he can't afford to keep his house, and his whole life falls apart, and he's stressed, and he gets depression and all the rest of it, and it all goes wrong. Why don't we have a system where if you lose your job or something happens, that the government match your wage that you were getting paid for 6 months, and then after 6 months it goes to 50% of that, and then after that goes to zero, or something along those lines, you know? And then that way it doesn't mess people up when they get made redundant, because the lifestyle stays the same, they're still in the same sort of thing, and they can go and get another job. Whereas, you know, not panicking about trying to keep the roof over their head whilst they're looking for another job at the same time. Does that make sense? But have it where it has an end, you know. It's like you'll receive help, like job seekers allowance. You'll get that money for the year, and that's it. If you haven't got another job within a year, tough. Now you get zero. That's a good incentive to go and get a job, isn't it? If you know they're not messing around, you will literally receive nothing. I don't know. I always think that all the problems that we seem to have in our country could be easily fixed. But maybe that's just me, because I'm being naive, because I'm not that smart in that field, that maybe it's not that simple. I don't know. To me, it just seems like we could fix it all quite easily, though. Where are we up to here now? Artists and cars, love your channel. It's a man cave. Yeah. YouTube, it is a man cave. I can't show you that. So in there, I've got a workshop through this door. You know, let's just see you through here. If you look down in here, but it's a bit of a mess at the minute. So you have to excuse the mess. But I've basically got a workshop with all my tools and all that gear, you know, workbench and what have you in here. But it's a bit of a mess at the minute, so I do apologise. But basically, this is like just a big workshop with my little office area at the end of it. YouTube, you have an understanding wife if there's one room allowed to be like that. Yeah. No, I've built this in my back garden. This is like a bungalow in my back garden, basically. And to be fair, what we did in here, I didn't want it to just be like an outbuilding, you know. I put a toilet in. This is all fully insulated. It's a brick building, this, by the way. I've just lined this inside with timber because I didn't want plaster in here. Sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But when you do plastering all day, every day, I didn't want to do any plastering in here. I wanted to be able to put a fixing anywhere I wanted it. I sort of had an idea how I wanted it, you know. But people always think this is like a little shed, but it's actually not. It's just lined with the timber, you know. Stephen Watson, what do you think of the post 2010 Rhino buckets? I think the quality is real bad these days. Do you know what, mate? I've never even used a Rhino bucket, I don't think. All the buckets I use are either Taylor Tools or Refiner buckets. HTZ Lucky, what do you do? What do you do as like work? I'm a plasterer. That's what this channel is. It's just a plastering channel, really. But we have these lives and have a little yap about anything we feel like. JCW Warlock confuses how an English dude has a rifle on the wall, then realised it's daylight as you panned around. Lol, it's almost 2 AM here. No, it's 10 to 2 in the morning here. It's not daylight out there. I've just got I've got lots of lights in my back garden. That's all it is. It's well lit, and it's an air rifle. It's not a bullet rifle. It's a Air Arms TX 200, and the other one that I've got is a Remington or something. But I've borrowed that out. It's just a cheap one. The other one. No, it's not daylight outside, mate. YouTube on the trail. Don't laugh at this noob question, but do people wallpaper over plasterboard? Yes, people do it, mate. People do it. I wouldn't advise doing it because when you take the wallpaper off, it can sometimes destroy the surface of the plasterboard. So you can see. If you wanted to wallpaper over plasterboard, I would completely seal the plasterboard first. I mean, ideally, for the cost of it, just get it skimmed and then you'll have no hassle. If you wallpaper straight over plasterboard, I've seen it loads of times, try and get the paper off and it tears the paper off the front of the plasterboard, and then it's not just a case of repapering, then you've got to re-plasterboard as well. So you could have it skimmed, or you could just completely seal the front of the plasterboards, and that would probably stop that happening, you know. G has put H. YouTube, don't know if any of a plaster over it or wallpaper straight over it, but there will be a visible line if it wasn't plastered over. Yeah, usually they just fill the joints, make the tape and joint them. Thank you, Kirk. They don't teach that in college. Mate, I don't know what they're teaching in college. It's bizarre to me because I've had a couple of young lads come and work with me. My dogs are going mad in the garden. I've had a couple of young lads come and work with me that have told me they've got distinctions in college and can't mix a bucket of plaster. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know what they're doing in college. I don't know how they're getting distinctions. They can't do anything. So I'm not knocking you, mate. I'm sure if you're in that environment and you want to learn as much as you possibly can, then just glean as much information off your tutor as possible, because ultimately he's bound to have been a plasterer. So, I mean, he's going to teach you what's on the syllabus for the course, but he'll be able to give you his own information as well. So I would try and, like, you know, be a teacher's pet and get as much information from him as possible. Gotta love the northeast. No, the northwest you've got to love. That's where I am, the northwest. Missed a load of Rusty Yastari Halal. Hello, my name is Rusty. How you doing, mate? You okay? Dom Double, a few videos of your coach and your new apprentice will be very helpful for DIYers and new plasterers, maybe on some scrap plasterboards filmed in your garage. Yes, do you know, here's the thing with that. I know it'd be good, and we tried this last time with Kieran skimming a wall, and I tell you what happens. I know it's lovely to have that from a viewer's perspective, but what you've got to remember is the apprentices, right, these young lads, they've got all their own ego, right? They've got all their own sort of ego and pride, and the last thing that they want, because you got to remember when a young lad's learning to plaster, he's learning with me, but he goes back and tells his mum and his mates that he's a plasterer. So the last thing that they want is to sort of be filmed making mistakes, and their mates, it's going to be online. It's on YouTube for the whole world to see, even though the whole world isn't interested. But, that can put a bit of a pressure on somebody. It's like, no, I don't want anyone seeing me make a mistake, because that's what you guys want to see, the apprentice make mistakes, so that you can see, you're right, okay, yeah, that's how you get around that. But the apprentice doesn't want to make a mistake on camera. He wants it to be perfect, so everyone thinks he's amazing. So that's the problem with it. And some people aren't comfortable on camera. Well, a lot of people aren't comfortable on camera. I'm just one of them people, I'm not really that bothered. But a lot of people, you put a camera in the face and they just go, they don't know what to say, they don't know how to act, or they transform into someone different, and it just puts them under a lot of pressure. So ultimately, it would be great content, but I've put it to the lads in the past, and no one wants to be filmed. Even other plasterers that work with me don't want to be on camera. They don't want to be filmed. They're like, I said, just from the back, no, because people will know it's me. They just don't want. I mean, I don't get it, but that's just how people are. Carl McGowan, I remember working on a farmhouse with river rock walls. Talk about a nightmare. How would you go about doing them from scratch? You just have to pug them out first, wouldn't you? You could potentially do a slurry coat to it, depending on what they're like. If they were dead smooth rocks, you might have to put a little scurry coat on them, slurry coat on them, to give you a little bit of a key, and then build up from there. But it'd probably end up being like 3 or 4 coats, not 4, but like build out all the hollow areas first, and then put like a rough scratch coat on, and then more of a floating coat, and then maybe another. Yeah, it depends. It just depends how bad the stonework is, really, doesn't it? Sith Law. Alexander Jablonski, because then 90% would be losing their job. Yeah, so we've had a plan for this as well, right? It sort of goes, you'd have to have it sort of where, depending on how long you've been in work, depends how long it stretches over. So you couldn't just go and do like, a week in a job and then pack it in again and get another year out of it. It'd sort of have to be, pro rata to how long you've sort of held the job down for. I don't know. See, don't even ask me about this. It's not. Don't think that I've thought anything deep about this. I know I've just said that. I'm just talking shit. You're thinking of things in work. Why don't they do this and why don't they do that? I'm no expert on this, mate. It just seems to me that there's probably simpler solutions, HTZ lucky, my dad has loads of tools too, and my mum doesn't get the point. Yeah, well, I'll just say to your mum that in her makeup bag she's probably got 6 different eyeliners, flipping 10 different lipsticks, flipping all different foundation brushes. She's probably got her own little toolkit with loads of stuff, and she only uses 2 or 3 things out of there. So it's just the same for your dad. Men like to be able to be productive and useful, and to have the right tools makes you a useful man. So Jordan B. Scotland, hello lads. Jordan B. Over here, B&Q was selling plaster for £1 a bag because it was so bad. It probably gone out of date, mate. Or it was that that plaster that didn't need PVA or something. It was nonsense that they brought out. Postal, dude. Have you ever played the game Postal? I haven't, mate, no. Eminem De Silva. Let's smoke weed, my friend. Get high, bro. We are late. Let's go, man. Just a roll. Sound. You crack on, mate. Do whatever makes you feel happy. Yalla yalla zug zug. Austrian Billar flipping. Irish shots. You are a bricky, mate. No. Just a plasterer. Don't do brickwork. YouTube, women are plasterers are too. Women are plasterers too. Yes, I'm on to what you're saying on YouTube. Women are plasterers too. Yeah, putting the war paint on. So I'll tell you what, some of the birds in Ellesmere Port look like it's been put on with a trowel, mate, as well. All right, yeah, do us a favour, mate. Stop spamming the things because I don't want to block you. So, you know, free parking in Gaza and all this nonsense, mate. Look, I don't mind you being on the stream, but just can that, you know. So otherwise, we'll just have to delete you. We don't want to do that, mate. We're sure you're probably a decent bloke. Roberto Kennedy, what do you play on the PS5? Right, this will blow your mind now. I hardly ever play it now because since I've started the YouTube channel, I have no time whatsoever. I'm always editing videos, but before then, I'd go on that, I'd unwind, I'd have a few beers, and I'd play on Red Dead Redemption 2, and, don't laugh, Farming Simulator. Farming Simulator, you just switch off, it's mint, but I haven't played it for ages because I just haven't got time. Gunner 81, Ukraine or Russia. Whoever the media is backing, I always question why. That's all I'll say about that. Whoever the media paint to be the bad guy, I always question why. Why are they painting him to be the bad guy? Why do they want us to hate him so much, you know? Chad Ryan, when's the bathroom part 2 coming? Soon, mate, soon. I tell you what, my missus asks that question every day. Natter, just block him, he's ruining the vibe. He's stopped now, mate, to be fair. He's just retracted his message, so maybe he's all right. He's okay. He's one of us now. Jordan B, honestly, helped me through hard times, mate. Keep it up. The only person I've ever commented on enjoying it all, Kirk. Jordan, appreciate you saying that, mate. Top man. And there's ways of reaching out and getting hold of me if you ever need to as well, mate. Hey, sir, what's up, man? Yeah, Mandy, hey, sir, what's up, man? All good, mate. Stephen, Watson, Avon Plasterers, you, lol. How's it going? Karma Cowan, Kirk, do you know if this is just a myth? I was told that if you put up a wall in the rain, it will slowly turn the bricks white over the years. So, yeah, the rainwater will have a certain amount of hydroscopic salts in it, you know. If you mix sand and cement with rainwater, then it'll bring, they call it efflorescence. It's not so much of a myth. I've seen loads of jobs where the efflorescence does come through. It just comes out like white. It literally, I don't go and do this, like, but if you literally taste it, it's salt. That's basically what it is. So it's not a myth. It might not happen every single time. I mean, I've done loads of rendering jobs and it started raining and it's been fine and the wall's been getting wet. But there is stuff you can put on it to get rid of it, so it's not the end of the world. Gunner81, do you believe NATO is giving too much aid to Ukraine? To be honest with you, mate, I literally don't follow the news. I don't know what NATO are doing. I ultimately don't really follow the news. I only see what I sort of see on social media. So, and it's hard to follow because, so a mate of mine, right? I've got a mate who's a concrete piler, and he met this bird, Natasha Damadova. Her name is, absolutely lovely woman. She was in Greece, and he brought her to the UK, married her, but she's a Russian girl, right? And she lives just outside of, I can't think of the name of the place now. But anyway, my missus said to me, they split up, Natasha, and she took his little lad Lucas and went back to Russia, right? But I've still got her on my Facebook. Now, on the news, the news told us that all of the things that was going on in Russia, it had all been closed down. There was loads of fighting going on. Everything was happening. All like the likes of, I can't think what it was saying now, but like the internet was switched off and McDonald's had pulled out of Russia and all crazy, loads of crazy stuff. I messaged Natasha just saying, how are you? You know, we're seeing loads of stuff on the news here. How are you? And she was like, fine. Like, there's nothing happening here. Like, there's nothing going on. So, I mean, yeah, and we were asking her because it was her region that was being reported on, and she was like, "Kurt, there's nothing going on here." Like, she sent me videos of the town square, people just carrying on, just doing the shopping as normal, and then we're looking on the news, and there's people like flipping running, trying to escape, trying to get out of the country, and all sorts of stuff. And she was like, "It's bullshit. There's nothing happening." So. I literally just don't pay attention to the news. In fact, whatever the news is saying, I think to myself, you know, it's probably the opposite of what's really going on. So, but then you start thinking, you know, do you believe everything's a conspiracy? I mean, what they probably do with the news is probably tell you some truths and some lies, and that's how they manipulate you, you know. Because with us, as humans, we like to say it's either black or white. What they probably do is tell the truth 80% of the time and then just lie about what they need to lie about to you, which is probably what happens. But ultimately, I mean, is it worth even worrying about? I mean, it can just consume you. I know people that literally are like that all the time. You know, it's going to kick off, and they're basically in a state of fear all the time. And you think, well, that's what they want, isn't it? That's what the propaganda machine wants. People that are scared, they're easy to manipulate, you know, and get them to do whatever they want. So, for a bit back. Jim Scott, how long does it usually take for you to get back to your phone calls about joining your group? Just wondering about inquiring. So, Jim, what you do is, if you want to join the group, you click on the link in my channel description. There's a link there for courses, and you click on that, and then there's the online plastering course, and then there's the sales and marketing course. So the sales and marketing, that one's for getting more work. That's the one for £1 a day. Once you click on that, it's not me that takes the money. It's all sort of done by Stripe, a big bank. Once you do that, I get an email to say I've got a new member, but you will then get a link to the group. So you'll click on that, and then all it is for me, I'll just have a pending member request for the Facebook group, and I literally check my emails a couple of times a day. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if you joined, you would be in probably within 5 or 6 hours at the longest. All right, mate. Sorry, I'm looking down here at the comments. She's up here, aren't you? Sorry. What? Feel like I've got fleas. They've been dead itchy. Robardo, I remember trying Farming Simulator when I was free 1 month. Could not get my head around it at all. Yeah, it took me a little while to get into it, mate. 2 a.m. late night crew. Shadow Bandit, that's probably a bot. He's gone now anyway, mate. So, Joshua Renning, why are we live? What's the discussion? Who knows, mate? There's only 56 of us now. There was about 200 and something before. Jordan B. Defo, mate. Just seems so chill in that phase. 8 years in the trade. Trade's only about 26, but wanna be good. Right, yeah. Fair play, Jordan. College is nothing like doing the real thing. I did some work with a plasterer when I was in college to get experience, but it seems difficult to get a job or an apprenticeship as a plasterer at 18. If you want to get, this is what I'd say to you, T, if you want to get in with some lads, and I've said this loads of times, so I'm sorry for the fellas that have to listen to this again, this is the best thing to do, mate. If you are 18, if you're not employed at the minute, you can go to the job centre and they will help you get a CSCS card, okay? You might have to pay for one if you're employed or whatever, right? Get yourself a CSCS card anyway. Just doesn't have to be a plasterer's one. Once you've got your qualifications, it'll have, you can update it and have plasterer put on it. But for now, if you just get a CSCS card, if you want to get a job as a plasterer, get a set of hard hat, get a set of boots, a hard hat and a high vis, right? Go to a building site and with your kit on and go and find the plasterers, and literally you might have to wait in the car park for them. They might not let you on the site or whatever, but find building site plasterers. Don't text them, don't phone them, don't, you know, send them an email. Go to the men. Actually turn up with your kit and say, I will work for free to show you that I'm a grafter. Just, can I have a start? Will you give me a chance? Let me do a couple of days for you, 2 or 3 days, free, and see if you think I'm good enough, and I'll jump in with you. Now, the reason I'm saying the building site, lads, these boys always need an extra pair of hands. Lads that do domestic work, like me, I've got me, another plasterer, and my apprentice. I literally have not got enough space for another person, another apprentice with me. There's just not enough. We could be doing someone's bedroom, and there's not enough room in the bedroom for 4 men to be working, you know. So the building site lads, they can always do with extra pairs of hands on site. So that's why I'm recommending building sites. And the other thing is, if you actually turn up and offer to work for free, then hardly anybody is going to say no to you, because they're going to say, that's a fella that's keen. He will make a good plasterer because he's actually come here to do it. Okay. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't want to work for free, Kirk. Don't worry. No real man will rip you off. And if they do, what have you lost? You've gained 2 days experience, okay? So you won't actually lose anything. You'll gain 2 days work experience. It won't have cost you. Imagine it's like going on a plastering course that's free, all right? But anyway, any decent fellow will pay you for your time. But what's actually happening is you aren't causing them any sort of... When someone says, yes, they'll take you on and they commit to paying you, then you're like a burden to them, because if you're no good, they can't get rid of you and you're costing them money, okay? So anything they pay you is literally coming directly out their wages. So if you offer to work for free, there's no anxiety about flipping, oh, we've got to pay this kid, even if he's crap. All right. If you do that, you'll get a job. You might not get a job with the first person you ask, but I guarantee if you go and ask 10 plasterers on a building site, you will get a job. Like literally, I could tell you to do this, I could take you and show you, and I could get you a job the same day we did it. Simple, easy, no problem. You could get a job within 1 day. Jono Toast. John on Toast. Why have you got a Trump sign? You sound like you're from the UK. Yeah, I still like him. I like Donald Trump. I'll tell you what, like, so I actually got a little print off of Donald Trump. I've got his little portrait up there, and my young apprentice, he went off travelling, and because I sent him travelling, right? It's one thing that I wish I'd done is gone and seen the world when I was younger. When I was like 18, I wish I'd gone to Thailand, India, Cambodia, Brazil. I wish I'd travelled the whole world before life gets hold of you. Like, you older fellas will know the situation. You end up, you know, mortgage, house payments, flipping kids, wife, job. You just can't go travelling. But there's a little sweet spot, right, from when you leave home at, like, you know, 18 or 17 or however old you are until you're about, I don't know, 24, 25. There's a little window of opportunity there where you haven't got all those commitments. And I wish that someone had told me, go and see the world, Kirk, whilst you've got the chance now, you know, whilst because now I've got to basically wait till all my commitments are done, wait till all the bills are paid, the mortgage is paid, the kids are grown up, and then I can go and do it. But then I'll be old, you know. I wish I'd done it when I was younger. Now, young Kieran, who started working for me, young apprentice, I told him, you need to do this, mate, before life gets hold of you by the nuts, before you get pinned down with flipping car finance or whatever other bullshit life's going to get hold of you with. Go and travel and go and see the world. So he did. I said to him, don't worry, you'll have a job whenever you come back. So go and do whatever you want to do. You'll always have a job when you come home to the UK. I said, so if you go to I don't know, Brazil, and then you're meant to come back within 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, and you meet a load of fellas that are going to go off to China or whatever, I said, just go. Don't worry. Don't think that you won't have a job. I said, I'm literally doing this as a good person to make sure you've got this opportunity. As soon as you come back and you need money, you'll have a job with me. So what he did was he started going off to different countries. He'd go off for a week, he'd come back, and he went all around Europe, and then he did America, and then he did all different places. And everywhere he went, because he knew it was one of my dreams that I wished that I'd done, he's brought me back. I've literally got them everywhere. Prague, Amsterdam, New York, Budapest. I won't go through them all. There's literally loads of, everywhere he went, he brought me a different thing back. And that's the one he got me from America. So that's why that sign's there. But I like it being on the screen as well, because I do actually like Donald Trump, and it sort of gets the snowflakes out me lives for me, you know, because you don't have to like him, right? Here's the thing, my best mate hates Donald Trump, doesn't like him at all. Fine, he's still my best mate, right? We can have a laugh about it, we can agree to disagree, right? But people that can't handle it, people are like, yeah, he likes Donald Trump. Yeah, good, go away. I don't want you people. If you can't handle that other people have got a difference of opinion, there's no room for you here with me anyway. So hope that answers your question for you anyway, mate. Where are we down to here? Purple bird. Purple red basket. You look so similar to me in my profile picture. Is that even? Wait there a second. Is that me? Or is that you? No, that is you, isn't it? Yeah, fair dues. We do look similar. Oh, where's the chat gone now? I've flipping done that now. I've clicked on that. I can't even see the chat now. How do we get the chat back? Right, bear with me, guys, because I've just clicked off doing that. I've lost the comments. Let's go back on there. It should come back. There we go. Huge undies, go to bed, Batman. You've got to rest up. I know. I'm going to call it a night in a minute as well, fellas. Jordan, mate, literally show them what you can do. You can mix, give them the tools, they need everything. Yeah, Jordan's spot on here. Literally say yes to anything as long as you can graft. Yeah, hey, be careful then. There are some strange dudes out there. Be careful what you say yes to. You never know. Astro Lemon, I'm only messing by the way. Astro Lemon, what's wrong with liking Donald Trump? I know, yeah. I know. Alexander Joblansky, why won't you get larger jobs with your brand hire? More folks can get that fat stacks. Why won't you get larger jobs with your brand, hire more folks and get the fat stacks? Okay, so yeah, I know what you're saying. So what Alexander's saying is, why don't we get bigger jobs, take bigger work on, bring in loads of fellas, make more money for me, right? Okay, I'm with you. I know what you're saying, mate. So when I was younger, I had an opportunity because I was good friends with a contracts manager. He was one of my dad's friends, a contracts manager of a building site. So for Persimmon Homes. So I had an opportunity to get building sites where I could run the building sites. I know loads and loads of plasterers. There's loads in Ellesmere Port. And I said to the lads, look, if I get the jobs, if I get the site work, I'll pay us better rates. We'll all work and I'll give us better rates than what we're currently getting. So it was all sort of sorted and ready to go. And that was just before the recession. And then the recession came and it all went Pete Tong, like they stopped building houses. And I was just about to take on my first building site and I have about 6 fellas working for me. Now, after that, when the recession started in 2008, then I started doing domestic work. But I still had all these dreams about having a big plastering firm and doing exactly what you're saying and having loads of lads working for me. I still had that in mind. So what I started doing was trying to bring in as much work as possible. And because the recession come, there was loads of fellas that didn't have work, so I was giving them all work, different plasterers, and I was doing that trying to make money on the plasterers. Right? Here's the thing: when you employ loads of fellas, some guys are cut out for it, right? Okay, some people are quite good at being bosses. I don't think I've got the necessary qualities, or maybe I've got too much empathy or compassion, or I'm too trusting. But I'll tell you what happened with me. Don't be wrong, I can be ruthless. The thing with me is I haven't got the capacity to be in between. I'm either dead nice to you, I'm either dead nice and dead lenient, or to see me ass and then I want to kill you. I haven't got the middle. My missus is great at this. My missus can tell someone straight but still be nice to them, She can put someone in the place and say, oh, you crossed the line there, and then continue to be nice to them. I'm like dead nice to you, taking liabilities, and all of a sudden that's it. Now I want to kill you. Now I want to fill you in. I beat you up. So I don't think I've got the right capacity for running jobs and organising fellas, because when I was doing that, I basically become Alcoholics Anonymous, because lads would disappear on the beer. I'd be trying to get them off drugs, trying to become a marriage guidance counsellor, a missing persons flipping detective. I was a loan flipping provider, because trying to manage other fellas is an absolute nightmare. Trying to just manage yourself is quite difficult. Other men just bring absolute chaos to the party, So for me, it was just too much of a headache for not enough money. I was thinking, we've got all this, I've got to organise him. He needs paying. He's borrowed money, but he's not turned up for work. He's gone missing. That customer's phoning me because they haven't turned up there, or they've left a mess there. He needs to go to that job. It was just trying to organise it. It was just too much. So, and then I looked at the end of it. I thought, okay, for the extra bit of money I'm making, there's loads more stress. I could literally have no stress and a little bit less money. I hope that answers your question, mate. Julio S. Old trumpet trousers. Donald Trump. Spot on. William Andrew Burke. Love from Scotland. Cheers, William. Base Chad. Appreciate the honesty. Cheers, mate. John on toast. Whole family. Beer time. Yes. Snow Lion Dragon. Hello from Florida. Just stopping by. How you doing, mate? It's nice to have you on board. Jordan B. I think Scott Rend is Glasgow based, but it's good rough casting product. That's good to know. It's good to know. Hoggy. How much red builder sand do you put in 50/50 PVA? I don't really bother putting any in there. I know my old fella used to like making his own grit by putting red building sand in there, just a couple of handfuls, but it will sink to the bottom. You've got to keep stirring it up. But ultimately, it won't really make all that much of a difference. So you could just mix your PVA with water and not bother. And if you wanted to upgrade from PVA and use a better product, just use SBR. That's Sierra Bravo Romeo, SBR, not P. Don't water it down, just use it neat, and it's far better than PVA. Mohammed Arsalan. Josh Renning. Trump is a very solid. I agree. Robardo, Kennedy, site work is so hard to make money out of it as a contractor. They absolutely hammer you. I know, mate, I know. I think it would have been easier to have lads working for you on site. Don't forget, I knew the contracts manager. So, potentially, I could have got higher rates of pay. No doubt I would have had to give him a Christmas card, say, thank you very much. Here's your Christmas card with your little Christmas present in there, once a year. But I potentially would have got a higher rate from Persimmon Homes. He'd look after me, I'd look after him, like a little, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? That's how that game works. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. I think that would have been easier to do on the building sites. But what I was trying to do on the domestic field is it was chaos. I'll tell you another thing as well. When you've got lads working for you and you send lads to a job and the customer's there, they've dealt with me, and then a younger lad's turned up or a different fella's turned up, that customer knows, Kirk's making money on them. So then the customer says, look, we want another room doing like next month. Any chance you could just give us a price and come and do it on the weekend so we can cut Kirk out the deal? So that happens as well, So I think trying to manage lads in the domestic setting it's just too much chaos for me. And as well, it's not lads. You're in someone's home as well, and they want an absolutely mint job. And when someone's working for you, they haven't quite got as much attention to detail and worried about the reputation, because it's your reputation as much as what they would if it was them doing the job for themselves. So ultimately, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? William, Andrew Burt, you're too nice. Probably, mate. Probably. Jordan B, I'm still a real plasterer and I haven't used sand and cement. Am I still a real plasterer if I haven't used sand and cement? Oh, mate. Well, look, the thing is, there's loads of lads, like my old fella saying, right, I'm a real plasterer, I can float, I can float and skim with sand and cement, with browning, with bonding, with whatever, right? And then I can dab board, so I'm a real plasterer, right? I've got a book here by a fella called William Miller, right? And this fella can run in situ, he can do fibres, plastering, he can do everything. So he'd be there saying, well, are you a real plasterer? Do you know what I mean? It depends on your skill level. It's okay someone saying to you that you're not a real plasterer because you can't do X, Y, and Z. But then there's somebody above, there's somebody more skilled than him saying, well, you're not a real plasterer either. So don't worry, mate. You are whatever you think you are these days anyway. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Look, the thing is, if you're out there and you're trying your best and you're making money and you're doing lovely work, don't worry about it. Just be you. Don't worry about the title. William Burke, mostly multi-finish in Britain. Loads of lads use multi. I prefer board finish. I just use board finish for everything. Jordan B, because I'm so young. Fair dues, Jordan. Meth Care Fard. Bro, do you believe of infinite life such as we will not finish? No, I don't, mate. I believe that when you die, that you're actually dead. That's what I believe, mate. There's I do believe that there's something not like heaven. I believe that the purpose of humans was to live on the earth, and that here we go, we're talking about religion now, right? I just told you we talk about all sorts. I believe that humans, we were designed by God to live on the earth. Okay, that's where I believe that we were supposed to be, and that God's plan for the earth. If you read Genesis, if you've ever read the Bible, I've read it cover to cover a couple of times. God's purpose for the earth was for it to be a paradise. So, and that's what his purpose still is, was for humans to live in the earth in a paradise. Now, I believe that his purpose will still be fulfilled, and that when you die, you're actually dead, but that God can resurrect you like he did with Jesus. He brought him back to life. That was like proof that he can resurrect human beings, and that we can all be brought back to life again and live on the paradise earth once we get through the end times, which we're probably in now. But let's not start talking about religion because it sends some people absolutely flipping crazy. I'm on to what you say now. Infinite life, like recycling, yeah, like reincarnation. That's the only problem with reincarnation is, if that's what you believe in reincarnation, is that population increases. So if everybody's being reincarnated, then there's new people being added. So where are their spirits coming from? If that makes sense. Jordan B done 11 bags one day. Fair play, mate. Carl McGowan, Kirk, why can't Kirk, why can you use washing up liquid instead of Fab mix? So basically, what Fab does is it's an air entrant. It basically makes it so that when you mix the sand and cement, it puts tiny little bubbles in between the sand and cement, which makes the sand and the cement particles glide over each other nicer because there's air in between there. So it just makes the stuff nicer to use. Fairy liquid does the same thing. The problem with it is that there's other things in fairy liquid that ultimately will weaken the cement a little bit. So you can use fairy liquid, but it's not good practice. And over time, the cement will be weaker than if you don't use it and just use Feb mix. Because Feb mix or plasticizer is that's what it's designed for. Whereas fairy liquid is designed for killing bacteria and getting crap off your plate, isn't it? So there's more things in fairy liquid than just the air, the air entrant part of it. Hoagie 180, cheers. Robardo Kennedy, classic northern business deal. My dad was an electrical contractor for years, but packed in sites in the end, so tight in predatory contracts from the developers. Yeah. Classic northern businessman deal. Look, by the way, that was just to clarify, that was never sort of agreed. It never sort of confirmed that, but I know the type of fella that this guy was. So my dad's mate, contracts manager. That just to paint the picture of why that would have been the case. It was never hands shook on it. We never made that deal. But this fella that was a contracts manager on the building site, but also had his own private building firm for domestic jobs. So he had all of his building site lads, and then he had all of his own private lads doing extensions and stuff. And all of the materials that the private jobs were getting built with were coming from building sites. Basically, things would, pallets of bricks would disappear at the weekends, and basically Persimmon Homes was funding his jobs for him. So I just knew what the fella was like, and I knew he would get me in there. I knew he'd help me and get me in, but it would also have to help him as well. It wouldn't just be a case of it's, some people will help you out of the goodness of the heart. Some people will help you because it benefits them. Julio S. From what I've seen, you make it look way too easy applying plaster. It's like anything, mate. If you do it long enough, it just becomes like second nature to you, doesn't it? So, Jordan B, 26, making about 30k a year. Does that sound about right? Look, it all depends on what lifestyle you live. I mean, if you're 26 making 30k a year and you're sort of on your own and it's just you, then that's probably fine. I'd probably be quite happy making about 30 grand a year. But as you sort of go further, depends where you're at in life. If you've got big mortgages and car payments and 6 kids and a wife that you've got to feed as well, then you probably need more money. It's just about cutting your cloth accordingly. So don't worry where you're at, mate. You compare your wages and your lifestyle with you. If you're happy with your lifestyle, then that's perfect, because to get more money, you've got to solve more problems. That's all money making is. The more problems you solve, the more money you make. That's basically how the game is. The harder, more complex the problems, the more money you make. Now, if your lifestyle is just nice for you and you're quite happy, and that's the money that you're bringing in, and that's fine. If your lifestyle isn't, if you're not where you're at and you need a better lifestyle, then you've just got to solve more problems and make more money. But ultimately, you know, people solving the biggest problems are stressed out the most. So depends how much you want to bite off, mate. William Andrew Burke, do you Ames taping or just plastering? Just plastering, mate. I don't do taping jointing. Just plastering for me. Jordan B, plastering, rough casting, rendering, wet casting, scaffolding and roofing. Flipping heck, fair play, mate. Fair play, so you do a little bit of everything. Oh, right, gents. Should we call it a night? Flipping 2:30 in the morning. I need to go and have a glass of water and brush my teeth. This was only meant to be a quick live. We get chatting, don't we? Jordan, mate, true. Trying to do my best as still living with my mum. There you go, mate. See? So if you're still living with your mum, 30 grand a year, you've probably got more spare money than me, mate. You're probably doing better than me. What you've got to think of is if you're still living with your mum, that 30 grand's basically in your back pocket, isn't it? That's your pocket money for the year. So if you're living, you know, if you're earning 80 grand, but your expenses, your family, your house, and all your lifestyle and everything is costing you flipping 75 grand, then you've only got 5 grand left at the end of it. You know, if you're making 30 grand and you're living with your mum and you've got no expenses, then you're better off than someone that's earning 80. See what I'm trying to say? Atomic CS, didn't know you did live streams, but when I helped out mates doing trades, we always started early. You not going to sleep? No, I will be going to Kip in a minute, mate. I've got lads turning up at my house at 8 o'clock, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 5. Yeah, about 5.5 hours time. So I'm going to have a quick snooze now, quick 5 hours, and that'll be me ready to rock and roll tomorrow for a big graft. Jordan B, get a beer, mate. There's no beer in my house, mate. It's all gone. It's all gone. Roberto Kennedy, hopefully you have a decent siesta tomorrow. Yeah, flipping. Do you know what, mate? Here's a thing for you. I don't know how much reading and stuff you do, right? So I believe there's a thing called sleep debt and sleep credit. Okay, so the average person needs about 7 or 8 hours kip a night. Yeah, that's sort of standard across the board. People can get by on 6 hours and what have you. You can get by on 5 hours sleep, but at a certain point, you will end up having a big lie in and having to pay back those hours, you know, because everyone needs about 7 or 8 hours a night. Yeah. So people say, no, I only need 4. I only need 4 hours sleep a night. At some point, you know, maybe it might be a month, it might be 3 weeks, it might be flipping 4 months. At some point, they will just have a big, they'll have to pay that back at some point, you know, or they'll feel tired all of a sudden for a long time and they'll have to just catch up and pay that debt back, right? And I think that you can become in credit with sleep. Like, for instance, when my missus is pregnant, she sleeps a lot when she's pregnant, you know. Always sleeping, always having little... come home from work, she's flat out on the couch whilst the baby's growing. But then it's like she's building credit up, because then when the baby's born, she's up all through the night, you know, for months and months. So I've read quite a bit about this, and this is just one sort of philosophy on it, that there's credit and debt with sleep. Now, what I tend to do is I'll get home from work, come straight in, and I'll have an hour or 2 hours or whatever until I just wake up naturally, and then I'll be awake then till like 1, 2 in the morning, and then I'll sleep again. And I find that sort of gives me enough sleep, you know. It's sort of spread out over 2 kips, but I'll have a bit of a deeper sleep tonight and then like a little siesta tomorrow. That's just how I do it. It's just how I've always sort of done it, you know. So it suits me. Jordan, me, I do pay bills and stuff. No, I know, mate. I know that, Jordan. I wasn't making out like you just like a little parasite living off your mum. Like, he just sits there just eating his mum's food and flipping, taking, having the heating on full belt and all that. I'm sure, I know, mate. I know the score. I know the score. Ragini Gupta. What you up to, Gupta? Let's see some disco dancing before you go. No chance, mate. I've got a snapped ACL. I can't do any dancing. Jordan B, been nice interacting with you, mate. Big fan. Jordan, I'm gonna rein it in now, mate. It's been nice talking to you as well, my mate. Knitting, do you drink? I did do, mate. I used to drink about 10 pints every day for the last 20 years. And I've only recently stopped because I've got my little lad. I want to spend more time with him and do his sports days and taking boxing and all that sort of stuff. So, saying that, by the way, when I'm saying I drink like 10 pints a night, I'd still be pretty much sober at the end of that. You know, I'm not like one of those getting blathered every night. I'd just literally just sup away, you know, until bedtime. Rajini Gupta, that's not true. You can only repay sleep debt at about 3% or something a night. You can't repay a big debt in one sleep. Ah, that's interesting. Are you growing ganja in your shed? No, mate. We were on about this before. It's not my typical ganja. Nothing against anyone that likes it. It's just makes me paranoid and lazy. Levi King, how you doing, mate? Jordan B, keep it up, Kirk, mate. Love you. Take it easy, Jordan. Top man. Mr. Texas, why do people want you to say stuff? What a random thing. Mr. Texas, say ambulance. Ambulance. That was just pointless, wasn't it? What? You fucking, are you a sausage? Roberto, good night, mate. Get yourself a bit of kip. Get yourself a bit of sleep credit. Have a good week. Rick Russo, Hope from Chicago. Bernard, what's up? Mr. Texas, here he is again. Here he is again, Mr. Texas, you sausage. my mate Tyson Fury will tell you, mate, you fucking sausage. Jordan B, honestly, mate, helped me through a lot. Appreciate that. Bernard, obviously, I remember we used to bully people in high school. Mate, don't be a bully. It's not cool. I was bullied when I was a young kid in primary school until I battered them all and then they stopped bullying me. Keep doing it, Kurt. Cheers, George. Gupta. Say beer can sandwich. So it's like, sounds like in Jamaican. You can't say beer can without saying bacon in Jamaican. Mr. Texas. Right, anyway, boys, I'm going to bed rather than fucking saying random things on the internet. Good night, God bless. It's been emotional. We've had a good laugh, haven't we? We've figured a few things out on the old YouTube. That now this live, because of the amount of people on there, I might have made a couple of squid out of this. Big bucks are coming. I'll make about flipping £4 or something off this live. I'll be retired in no time. Take it easy, gents. See you later. God bless you. It's over here, isn't it? I'm trying to end the stream on my laptop. Trying to end the stream on here. I'm like, where's the end button? It's on my phone. Yeah, flipping donut. Good night, boys.